Labor Day is the kind of unofficial end to summer. Well, that means it's practically acceptable to embrace the flavors of pumpkin spice, cinnamon, ginger, clove, nutmeg, all the other fall favorites. So it also gives us an excuse to explore certain spices in wine, the spiciness of wine. Unfamiliar with the term? Well, it's a new one for me too. And here to explain and sit with me is Erik Segelbaum, a sommelier from Vinovoss.
Yep. Hello.
So I'm so excited to have you here because I've never heard of this spicy wine.
Well, let me clarify.
Okay.
When we say spicy wine, we're not saying that the wine necessarily has like heat, like chili.
Right, it's not spicy.
Correct. But grape varieties have, many of them have a compound called rhantodone, and that is what gives, green herbs their sort of vegetal characteristic, and pepper, its pepperiness. So many different grape varieties end up having elements of different spicy flavors in them.
Wow,
and that's what we're going to talk about.
And it really is kind of like nutmeg flavors and all these things that we just kind of talked about?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and more.
All right, well, let's get started. Let's try something because I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, plus the more you drink, the better I get, so let's go.
I mean, ditto. It is almost Friday. That's what I said.
Perfect.
All right, what is this?
So this is a Gruner Veltliner. It's an Austrian variety, and what Gruner Veltliner is most known for is particularly like a white pepper kind of note to its spiciness. So go ahead, smell it, taste it. And if you get that in there, this is not that white peppers being added to the wine. When we talk about all of these flavors, it's the flavors that develop in the grapes before they're turned into wine, and then in the resulting fermentation process that amplifies them. So Gruner Veltliner is like a classic sort of white peppery note.
This is delicious.
Well, listen.
I mean, like Sauvignon Blanc might be your summer wine, but this is now your winter fall wine. Before we move on, what is that purpose, to spit it out?
Oh, just practicing safe and responsible alcoholic consumption.
Okay.
We got a lot of wine to get through, so I want to make sure that I'm not slurring at the end.
Hey, listen, we no wine goes to waste on this set. All right, let's try this one.
Okay, so we're going to move into a Gewürztraminer.
I've never seen a pink Gewürztraminer.
So this is what you would technically call an orange wine, which is basically a skin contact wine. Or the other way you can think of an orange wine, it is not a wine made from oranges, but basically a white wine made like a red wine where it spent some time on the skins.
Okay.
Now, Gewürztraminer translates to the little spicy one.
Oh, look, smell that.
Exactly. So Gewürztraminer in general, this is a local one from the Pacific Northwest from Oregon, but you'll find this a lot in Germany, Austria, and Alsace, France. And Gewürztraminer has a little bit of a different kind of spice going on. With this, we're thinking and feeling more ginger and some of those sort of more like what I call sweet spices, but like ginger is a huge marker for me for Gewürztraminer.
Oh my gosh, that is so unique. The nose on this is very, very strong and delightful and unique, and the taste is beautiful. Yeah. So, okay, with this ginger, I mean, I don't know, I feel like this would go really well with fish. I imagine that all these spicy wines go really well with food pairings.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about the most important things we add to our food to make it palatable are spices.
Yeah,
right?
It's true.
Not to be cliche, but spice is the spice of life, right? So if you think about the idea behind pairing, it's in the name, pairing. You want to pair things up. You want them to match. So when you have foods that have various spice elements to them, wines with similar spice elements, you definitely want those to connect. And it just sort of, the math there is 1 + 1 = 1,000.
Right, 1,000. All right, so what would pair well with this orange wine?
So you kind of nailed it with fish. I personally love Gewürztraminer with white flesh fishes, especially if the sauce is particularly citrusy, because I typically get a lot of sort of like a dried lemon peel note out of Gewürztraminer as well. So any fish with like a citrus-based sauce, or if you like capers or olives, anything that's kind of salty and briny as well.
Yeah.
Think of it this way: if you think about ginger and what goes well with ginger, that's the dish that will go well with Gewürztraminer.
Okay, got it. Okay, it looks like we have one wine to try left. Should I pour this in here? I know as a sommelier, I know you're not supposed to even have a touch of the old wine in your new glass, right?
No, that's totally fine. Think of it as seasoned. You can either pour it in here or you can pour it in here. I won't judge you.
Well, you're making me drink responsibly this morning, so I'm here for it.
All right, so moving on, we're going to keep it local here to the Pacific Northwest. This is a grape variety called Mourvedre, otherwise known as Monastrell in Spain or Mataro in Australia, but Mourvedre is unlike the Gruner Veltliner that has more of that white pepper spicy note. Mourvedre to me is like that, those fresh pink peppercorns?
Yes.
Or like the grinders that have like the mix of pink and green in them? Smell that, taste that, and tell me what you think.
Oh, I smell it.
This is from one of my favorite producers in Washington State called Gramercy Cellars.
That is delicious.
Right. But you get that like sort of pink peppery spicy
hello,
note to it, right?
Gramercy Cellars, my new best friend.
Well, it was founded by a master sommelier. They're out in Walla Walla, and they do incredible stuff. Washington State particularly is very well known for like mono-varietal Mourvedre.
Yes.
Typically, you see this as a blending grape, so the GSM, like Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre.
Yeah.
So you often see this blended, but here in Washington State, they're incredible Mourvedre vineyards. You also have them in southern Rhone, in both rosés and red expressions as well. So this is a grape that lends itself really well to a summer rosé, because think about that like peppery note to kind of
It really
lift you up.
does. Okay, so if I don't have you with me at the local wine store and I want to impress someone, like what do I do? How do I go to find a spiced wine?
So there's an amazing new, basically AI sommelier platform called Vinovoss. And what Vinovoss does is what people like me do in real life, but digitally. So it's both a website and an app.
Okay.
And you can straight up tell the app, hey, I'm looking for a wine with great spice. What do you suggest? And it will then recommend various different types of wines, and you can give it far more criteria than that.
Right.
You can say, I want something fresh, something that might chill really well, that has a little bit of a red pepper spicy note, and it's going to do the rest for you.
AI, man. Doing all the things now. All right, we've got one more to try. I didn't realize we had one left, so let's jump into this Syrah because we're just about out of time.
Absolutely. So Syrah is the queen of spice-forward wines. It is the variety that's really known to have the most amount of spiciness, but in this case, we are talking about baking spice. You know, fall is coming, so that PSL, right? The clove, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, all of that. So this is an incredible Syrah from Israel, which is the origins of where wine started. Vinifera, grape varieties, have been now genetically proven to have originated in Israel from about 11,000 years ago. So not just an incredible variety, but from basically the source of wine as we know it. But Syrah, you know, go ahead and smell and taste that. Like clove, cinnamon, nutmeg, and always like a little smokiness or even like a bacon fat kind of note. So
I want to curl up with a good book and a blanket wine right here.
And a charred ribeye.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, yeah, but definitely love that. One more thing I'll tell you about spice in wine is that it can also come from oak. So the oak usage can cause also these sort of baking spice notes, and you typically get like a lot of vanilla tone out of that.
I love that. You've taught me so much. My brain is full, and and now my class is full as well. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Go to Vinovoss, check it out. AI, your wine table.